So our first story comes from Dana White, who explains why he shut down the Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou fight. Speaking to Brett Okamoto, Dana says Jon Jones asked for an absurd amount of money at the worst possible time. Here's the clip.
Listen, it's one thing if you come out and say, yeah, listen, I want a little more money. The amount of money that Jon Jones wanted doesn't. First of all, you have in the light heavyweight division, the Dominic Reyes fight is a fight that makes sense. So is Jon Jones going to go in and fight Francis Ngannou that then try to take a run at the heavyweight title? I don't believe that. He's never wanted to move to heavyweight before, and for the amount of money he's asking for, it's not going to happen. I mean, you couldn't be asking for a more absurd amount of money at a worse time. He's got guys lined up at light heavyweight. Whether it's Jan Blachowicz or Dominic Reyes.
Jon Jones reacted to Dana White's comments and called him out on Twitter. He wrote, "It's interesting to just sit here and watch your boss lie to the camera like this. We never discussed any increase in pay. Immediately the conversation was that I already made enough. I never made a number offer. I was over the situation, but I'm not going to sit back and allow Dana to lie to the fans. I never asked for an absurd amount of money. That's bullshit. I'm not going to give up hope. The way I'm taking this whole thing is that the UFC don't want to budget the Jon Jones heavyweight move right now. They should have just said that. Lying on me and saying that I asked for too much is just unfair. That was unnecessary. You already let me down a bit by shutting down this Francis mega fight. Don't add salt to the wound by telling the fans something that's not the truth. If you're wondering, I'm not fighting with the UFC. I'm not mad at Dana or beefing. Just surprised you went that route. I said my piece, I'm over it." Our next story comes from Dana White reacting to Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. Speaking to Brett Okamoto, Dana says he has not spoken to Conor about fighting.
So Conor and I have not talked about fighting. I know that Conor's going back. If you're Conor and you're sitting home, I mean, everybody's calling you out in every weight division. I'm waiting, who's next? I'm waiting for a friggin',
Volkanovski, Henry Cejudo, all those guys, I'm sure.
Cormier. I mean, who's going to call him out next? It's crazy.
Anderson Silva called him out this morning.
Right, and Conor and his personality, he's going to respond to you. Conor and I have not talked about a fight. I think what Conor needs to do, sit back, let a lot of these fights start rolling, and obviously the most important division, the 55-pound division, and see what plays out for him.
Kamaru Usman's manager Ali Abdelaziz reacted to Conor accepting a fight with Anderson Silva. He tweeted, "You accept a 50-year-old legend but not a title fight with the champ Usman? Please, Dana White, no more talking about this hoe. He's willing to fight anytime, anyone, anywhere. You did a great job promoting this guy. He's a fraud. You did enough for him." Moving on to a quick fight announcement. Darren Till will fight Robert Whittaker on July 25th as the main event. Our next story comes from Colby Covington, who gives his thoughts on Conor versus Usman. Speaking to the Score MMA, Covington says Usman is ducking him by going after Conor.
Everybody knows all that is fake news. That's his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, trying to angle for a money fight. And Conor knows that's not the fight, I mean, Marty Fake Newsman does not draw any numbers. Nobody wants to watch Marty Fake Newsman fight, James. People would rather watch flies. Just like I said at the press conference, that you could give Marty Fake Newsman a white piece of paper and a green crayon, and he still couldn't draw money. That's how pathetic he is, and just nobody cares about him. He's got no personality. Literally, if you go look in the closet, the mop has more charisma than Marty Fake Newsman. So, that fight with Conor McGregor, that's never going to happen. That's just all hypothetical, and they're trying to pivot towards Conor McGregor because they know that Street Judas Masvidal turned down the fight, and Street Judas doesn't want to fight Usman. So, now Usman's like, oh, I need a fight, and of course he's not. He don't want to fight me, of course, because he knows if Mark Goddard's not there to save his life, then he has no chance. He's getting knocked out. So, he doesn't want to fight the real fight and the fight the UFC is giving him and presenting to him, and that's America's champ, Donald Trump's favorite fighter, me, Colby Chaos Covington.
Our next story comes from Justin Gaethje, who talks about his game plan for his fight with Khabib. Speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience, Justin Gaethje says the way to beat Khabib is footwork and staying away from the fence.
Real quick on the fight, I think people are like, why didn't he grapple? And a huge factor in the Khabib fight is going to be my feet work.
Yeah.
There was never a spot when he felt comfortable to close the distance. I was constantly too far away. And staying off the fence. So that's going to be huge against Khabib. You got to stay off the fence.
Yeah.
You got to have feet work. Without the feet work, you can't stay off the fence. If he's taking a shot in the open, it's to drive you to the fence to finish the takedown. Mm-hmm. He's not getting takedowns in the open. You go watch all of his fights.
Right.
You're going to see maybe 5, a handful, if that, of takedowns in the actual center of the cage. He'll start in the middle, but he's going to push you. It's to push you to the cage and use the cage. It's going to be my feet work. It's going to be me keeping that distance where he feels slightly uncomfortable. In order to shoot a double leg, you have to be at a distance in which you feel comfortable. In wrestling, it's always, I shouldn't, unless my head's touching your head, I should never take a shot. Right. Because then I'm too far away.
Right.
So controlling distance, staying off the fence is going to be the most important thing in the world when it comes to that fight.
Our next story comes from Jorge Masvidal, who gives his thoughts on Usman calling out McGregor. Speaking to Ariel Helwani, Masvidal calls Usman and his team desperate for going after the Conor fight.
What do you make of him now talking about Conor?
Desperate. It was just, I thought Conor's fighting Gaethje. That's what I heard. To tell you the truth, I don't care, man. I just get in here and train and train and train. He's not going to fight nobody, man. That's why he's calling out for everybody. How many interviews have I done with you in the last, 5-6 weeks compared to this guy's constantly calling up Brett or whoever will give him the time. Hey, let me get on your show. How many times does he call you to get on your show? Maybe you don't want to say it, you smile and you give it all away with that. This guy's a groupie, man. This guy's an attention whore. I love the fight, man. I'm not going to lie. That's my sin. I love the scrap, man. He keep all the meat and he keep talking. When he signs the bout agreement, UFC sends it over to me and we discuss our numbers, we'll do it. But the UFC doesn't even care for him, man. He's the lowest selling guy of 2019. Why do they care for this guy? It's a business at the end of the day. He's in the no making money business. Look at it. Look at his paychecks compared to mine.
Our next story comes from Sugar Sean O'Malley, who talks about his current contract. Speaking to Luke Thomas, Sean O'Malley says he will not take fights against top opponents with the current pay he is getting from the UFC.
Yeah, probably. I'm honestly not in a hurry. I'm not it depends how much the UFC, if they're going to pay me what they're going to pay me now, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll fight dudes. I'll fight other guys. If you want to pay me more money to fight better guys, I'll fight the better guys. But I'm not going to fight the better guys right now with the money you're paying me right now. It just doesn't make sense from a business perspective. From a fighter's mind, it's like, I want to obviously fight the best guys in the world. I want to be champ. But in a business kind of mindset, it's like, okay, you're going to pay me this amount. I'm going to fight someone that's not the best in the world right now. So it totally depends on what UFC ends up wanting to pay. Yeah, it's a dangerous sport. So the tougher guys you fight, you should be getting paid more. So yeah, I think it is a business. At the end of the day, it's a sport. It's a business. It's it's our lives too. So it's not just our careers; it's our lives on the line.
Our next story comes from Kamaru Usman, who gives his thoughts on a Colby Covington rematch. Speaking to Brett Okamoto, Usman laughs at the people calling for him to rematch Covington. He says he doesn't deserve a rematch.
Well, listen. This is what kind of it's kind of annoying to me. Is a lot of people are saying, "Oh, with rematch with Colby." Like, why the does Colby deserve a rematch? Like, was he the champion that I just took the belt off of? That he deserves a rematch? Like, that's the craziest thing to me. A contender fights for the belt, gets knocked out, and then everyone's like, "Oh, rematch for what?" But I absolutely down the line, I would absolutely love to fight him again because it was a fun fight. Like, I had as much fun in that fight as everybody had in watching the fight, So it was a fun fight. Absolutely, I would love to fight him again. But for everyone calling, oh, it's a rematch, you need to do that rematch for what? For what? Was he the champion? No, I was the champion, and I went out there defending my belt. So why does Colby deserve a rematch? Because it was just such a fun fight and people want to see it again, see the blood again? Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that down the line when I feel like I want to. On the bigger and better. Like, I want to continue to defend my belt. So, I've been ready to defend this belt since April.
Our next story comes from Tyron Woodley. Speaking on the UFC Media Day, Woodley says he went into a state of depression after losing the title to Usman.
I mean, the switch didn't switch instantly. It took months. I went into a state of depression for a while. I really wasn't talking to a lot of people. I was eating terrible. I wasn't training. And I really just did not expect. I felt like all my competition that I had before Kamaru Usman, I felt like that was the stiffest competition. I felt like all the great welterweights I beat before then were going to be my toughest competition. I didn't take anyone lightly, and I didn't think it was going to be on cruise control at that point, but I felt like I had that 5-round mapped out so well. I felt like my strategy, my game plan, my studying, my coaches, my team, I felt like I had everything in position to win. So I really had to deal with that, and it took longer than any other fight in my career. And I got to the point where, I felt like I faced it head on. I felt like I'm a better person. I'm a better fighter. I'm a better human being because of it. And I feel like it was necessary for my journey. And, I'm coming out swinging, and I've always came out swinging in defeat. But this time it's a little bit different because I plan on making this a complete lifestyle change, the way that I'm taking the fight game. And really my focus is really set back to that amateur Tyron Woodley that was trying to turn professional, that wanted to fight in the UFC, that wanted to be a champion, that wanted to reign, that wanted to be the greatest. And now I'm out for everything right now.
That about wraps up the video for today. I thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and peace.